Welcome, everybody, to the Casting for Fun podcast. I am your host, Albert Pineda, and joining me tonight is my older brother, Fernando. How are you, Fernando?
Good to be here.
And welcome back to the show, Nick Turner. Nick, how are you doing?
Hey, doing all right.
Awesome. So tonight we're going to be doing a spoiler cast, complete 100% spoilers for the Book of Boba Fett. I'll be putting that in the description so everybody's aware, so they don't come in unaware that we were going to be talking and spoiling the entire show. But
if you haven't watched it by now, come on.
Yeah. So Nick, you already know it's customary for the show for me to allow plugins for everybody. I don't know if anything's changed for you in the past week or so, but
I don't do plugins.
Okay, sounds good. That's fine. Fernando, is there anything you wanted to plug in and talk about before we get started?
I don't know what a plugin is.
Just
or
anything,
plug
or
promote your Twitter or whatever.
Promoting. No, I don't do any of that.
You can be famous.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into it for the Book of Boba Fett. A couple questions I have, but again, I wanted it just to be an open discussion. Everyone can contribute whatever they want and talk about whatever they want. First, I wanted to ask for Boba Fett essentially coming back from the dead, or I guess retconning it that he had survived the Sarlacc pit. Is that a good decision, bad decision, indifferent? What are our general feelings about Boba Fett coming back?
I'm curious what you have to say, Fernando.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right, one sec. So Boba Fett coming back. Well, it was definitely a surprise, especially in Mandalorian season 2, where he came back. It was all over the tech blogs that he was coming back. So, I have a RSS feed that I follow, and it has all kinds of articles about tech, but it also has geek stuff in there too. And nice. It mentioned Tamara Morrison was going to be in an episode of The Mandalorian, so everyone assumed it was Boba Fett. So when he appeared at the end of the Crate Dragon episode,
it
was kind of a surprise, and it was a welcome surprise. So I was wondering, like, what's happening here? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? And just going off based on what I knew beforehand, he was going to be a bad guy. So he's kind of like a anti-hero now, but I thought, this is going to be interesting. Like, how's he going to get along with Mando? Is he going to confront him? What's happening? So I thought it was a good move to bring him back. Yeah.
I think so too. I would have, again, at the time when Return of the Jedi first came out, I don't think George Lucas could have anticipated how popular the character would eventually become. If he did, then I don't think he would have went out the way he did, kind of like as a little bit of a joke that Han didn't see him.
Yeah.
Right.
But I agree, Fernando. I think it was a great idea to bring him back and to give him the story that he did. How about you, Nick?
Yeah. So, all right. So over the years, do you guys ever listen to Star Wars Theory on YouTube?
Just started doing it recently.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah. So over the years, I've been listening to him. So my Star Wars knowledge has grown. So, like, first upon Boba coming back, I was like, all right, cool. Maybe they'll do something. Then I learned, like, in the comic books in the past, he was saved by someone else. I can't remember. Showing I'm not the huge nerd I should be. But there's a comic book where he was saved by someone, and they changed it in the Book of Boba, how it happened. So there's some people that are actually kind of not happy that they didn't follow the comic books back in the day. But otherwise, if I didn't know that, I'm okay with it. I thought it was pretty cool to bring an old character back, because none of the new Disney stuff is any good. So unfortunately, they need the old stuff to just make good Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Very good point. When I read a lot of the message boards and people making posts on Facebook and some of the things that I follow, some people had kind of complained a little bit about the show not really focusing on Boba Fett as much, where Mando got his own episode. within the Book of Boba Fett.
Yep.
And then obviously bringing in all the guest stars that they did. What do you guys think? Was that a good move? Bringing in those guest stars? Should it focus entirely on Boba Fett? Were you happy with the story we got with Boba?
I'll go first this time, Fernando. So I asked Sarah that question earlier today, since it's been over for a little bit of time. We haven't talked about it, and that was her one issue. Well, she liked the show overall, but was like, why was it called the Book of Boba? We had episodes on The Mandalorian, which were good, but how did that help Boba's story? So I would tend to agree. I liked what happened with having Luke again and Grogu and the Mandalorian, but I felt it did take away from Boba's story.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I love the show, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I like it more than Mandalorian. As for those 2 episodes where Boba Fett was hardly in it, you know, it took away from his story a little bit. I mean, I can see why people were upset, but at the same time, it gave fans what they wanted. So you want Luke meeting Ahsoka, catching up with Grogu after he left. I love the foreshadowing they had. So at the end of that last episode where they said they needed they had the credits, but they needed muscle, and they started playing the Mandalorian theme at the end.
Right.
That was awesome. So yeah, I can see why people complain, but for me, I love the show, and I thought it was better than Mandalorian because I really liked the build up for it, the first few episodes. And I was telling Albert last night that the train heist episode was my favorite one.
Gotcha.
And it's my favorite action scene of all Star Wars, movies included.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why is it your favorite? What about it?
Because there's
makes it better.
No one with the Force was in it, so it's like all muscle and skill, and how they won. The Sand People and Boba took over that train that was commanded by the Pikes, and they took it over. No one had a lightsaber, no one had the Force. They just did it with brute strength and skill.
I can respect that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Another topic with Book of Boba Fett. So digital Luke Skywalker, which also we got to see in Mandalorian at the season finale of season 2. It seems to me that it was almost universally liked by Star Wars fans around the world. But I'm curious, what did you think? Do you like the digital technology we have to create younger versions of characters? Should we go with a live action or an actual like recast of someone else playing the role? I've read some reports that there's been fans liking the idea of actor Sebastian Stan playing a younger version of Luke. He's the guy who plays Bucky in the Marvel movies, who kind of looks like a younger Mark Hamill a little bit. So just your thoughts. Do you guys like the digital recreations of younger characters?
Go ahead, Nick.
So I think the reaction by the fans overwhelmingly approved of it. I think it is interesting. I don't even think it needs to be Sebastian. The deepfake technology, it doesn't matter. They can make like Albert, they can make you look like Luke. So the actor is going to become irrelevant. They just need to be good. I don't think there's any way to stop it. So whether you like it or not, it's coming. Hopefully they'll do right by it. But yeah, I don't think we can stop it. I think it just technology, it's coming.
Yep. I'm going to go and say that because I know that they hired a guy that did a deep fake of Mark Hamill on the Mando season 2 Luke.
The YouTuber, right?
Yeah, and it came out better. Lucasfilm hired
he did it on
him.
himself. He was the actor.
And
it was better than
the
Lucas.
Right thing picking him up.
Yep, I agree.
And so my understanding was he was behind this one. So my only issue was this time he looked a few years younger than he did in Mando season 2. But it wasn't consistent per se, but I thought, awesome job. As for actors or CGI going forward, I don't care. They have the greatest movie character of all time and they killed him off in the third movie they made, Disney, talking about Luke Skywalker, greatest movie character of all time. They killed him off. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You guys
Preach
are
it.
stupid.
Preach
So
it.
if whatever they have to do to get more Luke stories, they need to do it. I don't care how they do it. They just need to do it because, I mean, they paid $4 billion for the greatest movie character of all time, and they killed him. It's like, what were they thinking?
That was actually going to be my follow-up question. Would
Yeah.
you guys want to see a Luke Skywalker Disney Plus show? I guess taking off that era, like right after Return of the Jedi.
All right, so I'm gonna go first again. So since we've never all been together and talked about it, I have developed a disdain for Disney Star Wars. Like the movies I hate. I think they're trash. Even our friends that like them, I don't get it. I do get it, but I don't. Yeah, I have no. I want good Star Wars, but I have no faith in it. And this little bit of faith from The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba, like the small good things, you know, the company, it's still being run by the same people that ruined Star Wars. So I just don't have faith going forward that they'll do a good job on anything, even Obi-Wan. It could be good. And I wonder how much better The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba and the Ahsoka show could be, you know, if it wasn't the people that did the crap movies we got behind it all up at Lucasfilm. So I'll publicly say it. I think we should fire 3/4 of the staff and just hire random people on the streets and they'll do a better job.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I just watched the Star Wars Theory video where he was complaining, you know, when it all came out that there was never a plan. So this was about roughly a year ago, and I just watched it last night.
Yeah.
So yeah, that guy was pretty upset. Like they just totally fumbled that trilogy, that sequel trilogy. Like it sucked. So I'm gonna say, you know, they own it, so they're gonna do whatever they want. But I'll give them another chance if they make another movie. But here's the thing. This is my take on the issue. Because the guy said that, you know, Rian Johnson ruined the trilogy, but they told him what to do, and so he was just taking orders from.
Oh, it's worse than that. It's worse than that, Fernando. Like he started writing the movie before the first one came out. Right. Like they had it goes back to Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm. There was no one with a storyboard saying this is the whole story. Right. It was literally like, all right, here's what you're doing. All right, you do one. Well, how does the other one end? We don't know. Just do what you want. It was that dumb.
Yeah. So, it was just, wow. And then like, you know, him and Rian Johnson's like fighting people on Twitter about the movie. He's calling them man babies that are crying. But I mean, put it this way: you look at all the lines, and the prequels had a lot of cringy lines, but the cringiest line of all was in The Last Jedi, where Rose says, "We will win by saving what we love." That was the cringiest line of everything, of all Star Wars. That was it right there.
Oh my goodness!
Everyone thought the prequels were bad. And
I know.
And he ruined her career. So I'm not blaming her. She just read the lines that she was given.
Yeah, she did a good job for what she was asked.
Right.
Yeah.
Rian Johnson ruined Kelly Marie Tran's career. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Going back to the point you guys had made before, Colin Trevorrow, he was the director that was supposed to do Rise of Skywalker, the third of the trilogy, who bailed. And I mean, he's most famous for doing the Jurassic World movie. I guess he's going to do the next one, the Dominion. He basically bailed, and because he didn't know that, oh, by the way, they're killing off Luke, and Luke was essential to whatever plan he had. I think there's a potential leak of what he was planning for the third movie that was going to heavily involve Luke.
Yeah, I think some of his script got out,
Yeah.
which
So
showed
again,
some
that's
of it.
an example of like not preparing, not planning, not being on the same page. So yeah, definitely, I definitely agree with those points. But going back to putting it in the right hands of people, if you got Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau in charge, I think that we're definitely going to see some good quality stuff.
Yeah, but are they in charge? I don't. As
Yeah,
long as
yeah,
Kathleen Kennedy is there,
that's the
I
question.
don't trust it.
Mhm.
You know, I don't. With all the stuff we know, and I don't know if you guys know, like the whole she sat there with George Lucas, we're going to honor the characters, we're going to do all this, and then once she got in control, they pushed Lucas out. They didn't even like they stopped consulting him. They bought his storyboards and then just to throw in the trash. Like it was stupid. It was just ignorance. Like it's Star Wars. You can almost put Star Wars on any box and it will sell. And they found a way to make a Star Wars box not sell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like people like to bag on the prequels, and the prequels had a lot of cringy moments and a lot of bad lines, but like overall, like the story that they're telling, it was a great story. It was a great movie. I mean, is it the original trilogy? No, but how everything was manipulated from the beginning so that Palpatine can become the Emperor, and that he's playing both sides during the Clone Wars, just moving chess pieces here and there, just trying to maximize how many people die on both sides so he can take over. That was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would agree. Okay, I got a question. What of the Disney Star Wars, what is your favorite? And you can pick an episode of something, or if there's more than one, or a series or a movie. I'm just curious. What's your favorite Disney Star Wars?
I absolutely love Rogue One. I think Rogue One was really well done and really good. I would put it on par with what we saw with the original trilogy. I think it's that good. And Solo I thought was decent, not terrible, but I would agree that the sequel trilogy itself, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker were subpar at best. But definitely Rogue One would be my pick.
Now, if you took away the Darth Vader scene at the end, do you think it'd still be your number one?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Going back to what Fernando was talking about with the train sequence and like just using like your I guess technically there was the one blind guy who had force powers, I guess, who
Right,
knew the force,
the
but
one with the force.
yeah, not technically a Jedi, but was a force user. Him excluded. I mean, the rest of it was almost just getting by on your own abilities, like really seeing the Rebel Alliance do their thing, which I thought was really cool.
Right. I did really like that. All right, Fernando, what's yours?
I'm gonna say the Siege of Mandalore and the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars.
Nice.
But if
Why?
you're talking individual scenes, like I said earlier, the train heist in Boba Fett and the Kessel Run in Solo are my 2 favorite action scenes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I would actually agree with you, Fernando. I would say Mandalore, the final 4 episodes of the Clone Wars, is the best Star Wars Disney's produced.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I was trying to say it could be a couple episodes.
Okay. Yeah.
Instead of a season, is because like you can take those 4 episodes. It's like one movie. It coincides with Star Wars. It's beautiful in my opinion. Like it's the purest Star Wars there is for Disney.
Yeah.
And it's Filoni matching it up. So, and it goes back to, once again, it's not the new story. It's the classic Star Wars that works and animates us.
Absolutely. Yeah. So going back to Book of Boba Fett, any other scenes that we want to talk about or episodes, moments that we thought were cool?
Yeah, I got one. So it didn't really anything really come out of fruition from it, but my my thought was when we had what's his name? The Machete guy.
Oh, Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo. So at the end of the episode,
Hmm.
or towards the end, so Boba's trying to, you know, develop a friendship with the Rancor, and then he has to leave. And this was a gift from the Hutt cousins, or the twins that were Jabba's cousin or whatever. So it made it sound like he was going to turn against Boba Fett, because he said, "Oh, don't worry, he'll be back." And the way he said it was kind of cynical, kind of a maniacal way of saying it. That he's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, he'll be back." And I thought they were going to turn against him, but they didn't. So yeah, that's what could have been. You know, like it would have been a good twist in the story. To say.
Mhm. I like that they brought him in, Danny Trejo. I guess he's good friends with Robert Rodriguez, who's done a lot of movies with him, and then he directed several of those episodes. So
yeah, he directed a few.
Probably had a hand in bringing him in.
Yeah, so it's weird in the online community. So Rodriguez, did you guys watch after the first season of Mando? What's it called? It was on Disney, but they interviewed all the directors and talked about all the episodes.
Oh yeah.
Particularly that Boba one where he made that film at home with his kid. I don't know if you remember that scene where they showed it, like he kind of recorded it, and it was cool. Online, I've heard people say like his episodes this season weren't that good, that it was the other ones that he didn't do that people didn't like. And like in The Mandalorian, Boba was badass.
Yeah.
Like, and so this goes back to Star Wars theory, where I didn't know this, where like, you know, there's all these comic books that I've never read, but all these fans of Boba Fett and his story over the years are kind of disappointed, because they're kind of like, look, why didn't Boba's the most feared guy in the galaxy next to Darth Vader? Like, why didn't he just kill everyone? You know, like, where's his power that we saw in the comic books? Now, me not knowing about any of that, I'm like, I'm not missing it, but I could see from their perspective where they're like, we didn't really get the Boba we've imagined for half our life from all the other stuff Lucasfilm has put out or approved on him. So I can understand that and relate to that, where I could see where, even, I don't know if you guys know, the actor himself said Boba talked too much, that there was a lot he shouldn't have said. I don't know if you guys heard that at all.
I did hear that. And then actually, if you go back to the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, Boba has very few lines at all.
Yeah. So once again, it just goes back to like the history of him and the mysteriousness, and he speaks through violence and scares you, and how like there was none of that. And I'm like, I could see where that would be really cool. Even though I liked it, I could see it being way better if Boba was like what they talk about. And, you know, so I sympathize with them on that, even though I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of what happens in the comics, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it could have been better. I loved it, but you know, it could have been better. It was also my first introduction to Black Chrysanthemum, so I didn't know he was a character.
Same here.
A lot of people said he was big in the comics, so cool.
Yeah, by the way, Fernando, everything I know about that is all from Star Wars theory. That's where I've gotten all that knowledge, because I don't know about it either. Yeah. And like as soon as the episode comes out, it's like, here's the breakdown, and then here's all the stuff the non-super freak fan doesn't know. Yeah, I don't know how they know so much, but
yeah,
it's crazy.
All the Easter eggs. I always watch that after I watch the Boba episodes, and I'm like, oh, I missed that.
Right. It does make it better, I think.
Yeah.
For the average person.
Yeah.
Awesome. One more point from the Book of Boba Fett that I wanted to bring up. I love the live action debut of Cad Bane. I was very excited to see him. I hope he's not dead. Fingers crossed that he's not actually dead.
He's not dead.
Okay, I didn't think so, but it left it that way. But then who knows?
You know how he got the metal plate in the head?
That was from the Clone Wars, right?
Yeah, it's unpublished, or unproduced scene fully, but he got it from Boba. But I'm like, he took he took a shot in the head from Boba and still lived. He's not dead.
And then he put the dent in Boba's helmet.
Correct.
And
If
turned
you go back though, as soon as he gets hit, like one of the things on his chest starts beeping, like a homing tractor.
Oh, okay,
So-
like saying like some life sayings with them, right?
Yeah, so something to signal that whoever saved him from the head wound is going to come
Yeah,
save him. And now we know in Star Wars you can be dead
and come back.
and they can just take you to the Power Rangers and they restore you.
Yeah, yeah. I do
Okay.
like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Fernando.
Yeah, so I have a question now. So talking about people who are dead but can't be brought back. What do you guys think of Mace Windu coming back?
Are we?
Just as a thought. I haven't heard anything about it, but
That's only happened in one place that I know of, in his Star Wars Theories video that he made, his privately funded video. Have you
Yeah.
seen that?
I haven't.
Oh, dude, look it up. It's great. He does a little thing. It's an interesting question because did he really die? I mean, he fell out of a building, but he's a high-end Jedi. He can survive a fall. They jump out of planes and land. So, and they brought back Darth Maul. So they could bring, he was cut in half. So
Yeah.
you could bring him back. Part of me, so this is where I'm going to go. I wish they didn't have to. I think they've done such a crappy job with everything else with the movies that they might have to just to reanimate the fans and get more of us back to
Yeah.
watching more. So, but once again, I have no faith that they won't just screw that up completely. So, but I think it'd be pretty cool.
Very good. Very good. I think, yeah, I agree with those thoughts for potentially bringing back Mace Windu. Anything else with Book of Boba Fett?
I got one. But if Nick, go ahead if you have one.
I don't have anything really with the Book of Boba. I'm good. We've said our piece on that.
Okay. So I wanted to ask, who do you think saved Grogu during Order 66?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's what I would like to know also. I think that could be interesting.
Was it Mace Windu?
There's theories on it. Everyone's
Yeah.
speculating who did it. There's all sorts of people.
Yeah.
It could be any of them, but look, it's going to open a can of worms because if it is Mace, then there's a million other questions. Whoever it is,
Yeah.
there's a million questions. Now, I would guess the answer is going to be what will make Disney the most money. So, and I know they got people that are going to run some calculations. It's not about the art or the story. It's all right. What's going to make us more money? And that will be most likely the answer with current leadership.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good point to think. Oh, consider. Okay, so we have a few minutes left. I wanted to touch base briefly on Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm excited. I think it's going to be really cool. I'm excited for the cast they've put together. And there's been some recent rumors that I've read just the past week that sound really cool and intriguing to me. I think one of them is actually officially confirmed that John Williams is coming out of retirement to do a musical score for.
Yeah, I believe that's confirmed also.
I believe it's rumored heavily that Jimmy Smits was going to be returning to play Bail Organa.
It's going to be interesting. We'll see. Once again, I have zero faith that Disney knows what to do to make a good show. So I don't have high hopes, but I want it to be great.
Mm-hmm. And then outside of the confirmed cast, I mean, I really would love to see Liam Neeson come back as a Force Ghost as Qui-Gon Jinn to complete Obi-Wan's training to basically, I guess, teach him how to become a Force Ghost. But I guess it was implied at the end of Revenge of the Sith that he's the first Jedi to discover that.
No, the Clone Wars cartoon.
Oh, the Clone Wars as well.
Yeah,
But
they touched on
at
it,
the
yeah.
very end of Revenge of the Sith, Yoda tells Obi-Wan that he has additional training for him on Tatooine.
Right, no, that's true. I was just saying it goes back to the Clone Wars because Qui-Gon taught Yoda how to do it also. So, no, I agree. That would be great. Yeah, I've heard that this could be pretty dark. which makes I could really get behind. Like his whole life just fell apart, and he's got to protect Luke on a planet of scum, and he's a Jedi, but the Jedi are gone. So there's got to be some internal struggle. There could
Yeah,
be
he
some
can't bring
darkness.
attention to himself and use the Force.
Yeah, there's speculation that we see Darth Vader. Like there's so many ways they could go. That's awesome.
Mhm.
I just don't know that I trust they'll do a good job, but I really want them to.
I
Well, I
heard
believe. Oh, sorry, go Fernando. Go ahead.
I heard there will be 2 fights between Vader and Kenobi.
But why would that can't be? I just don't see them ever fighting.
Yeah. Well,
His
that's
whole
what the
point.
fans want.
I get that, and YouTube has done great videos on that. Done some amazing. The fans have recreated that, and it's awesome. But in the storyline of Star Wars, how do you justify that? Like, if he knows Obi-Wan is alive, Darth Vader will stop at nothing to find him, and like he'd be looking for him constantly. How would he not find him before Star Wars starts? I just
My
don't
guess
see.
would be, if they really are 2 fights, it'd be the second of the 2 that there's some kind of building collapse and Obi-Wan is stuck in the rubble and Vader thinks he's dead. That's what I thought of. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, just I don't know. That would be interesting. If Vader thought he was dead, that would answer that question. Why did he stop looking for him? But I feel like Vader wants to know you're dead. He doesn't want to just think you're dead.
Yeah.
Right, because Obi-Wan walked away assuming Anakin would die. He didn't kill him. He didn't finish it because he couldn't bring himself to do it to his Padawan. So I think Anakin knows you don't know it's true until you put the saber through the heart.
Yeah.
If we're being consistent,
Mhm.
Right.
you wouldn't want to leave it to chance.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited to see what they do. Any other thoughts on Obi-Wan or even any of the Star Wars shows or anything Star Wars related?
Man, I just wish Lucasfilm would fire Kathleen Kennedy and put someone in. Hey, look at that. I like it. Put someone in who actually cares about Star Wars.
Yeah. I agree. So I think the fans' choice is oh man, I'm drawing a blank on her name right now.
For president of Lucasfilm?
Howard's daughter.
Oh, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't want her. No.
Yeah.
That's just me. Wait, there was some recent news that came out about Filoni talking to Lucas. Have you guys heard that about Grogu?
No, I haven't.
No, I don't think I've heard that.
Oh, okay. I think it came out in the last day or two. So Dave Filoni did go to Lucas about Grogu, pick his brain. This is my interpretation of the story. Let him know what was going on. We know from The Mandalorian behind the scenes where Lucasfilm was on set and knew. So in a recent interview, it came out, Filoni said that when he told George about kind of Grogu, kind of to get the blessing, I think. Now, some of the speculation, Yoda's species always been very unique, very mysterious. We don't know a lot about him. That's kind of what Lucas said. He's very strong, but mysterious. There's only 2 of the species we've known about from the movies. And so very mysterious. So would introducing a baby version of him, take away from that mystery. But yeah, Lucas responded, he's just got to have good training. Like he's got to be trained. So some of the speculation is why we got Grogu back in the Book of Boba, and we got the training from Luke, is that, hey, it was important that there be training, because Rey, she received the Spirit and became a Jedi. She magically became a Jedi without training. So yeah, that came out recently. That Lucas seemed to be okay with it. Just at least train him. Like, don't be dumb.
Yeah. Well, she never lost a hand, so yeah, there's that.
Did she lose a fight?
Never lost a fight, never lost a hand.
Yeah. Became as good as her competitor by blinking, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No struggle, no hero's journey.
Right.
No, we learned that's very important for any movie franchise,
Right.
or any show, any thing that's presenting the hero going through whatever they're doing.
Yep.
You have to overcome something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, guys, we're running a little low on time. Any other last thoughts before we wrap up?
If we had more time, I'm sure I could bring up things to go on for hours that I would like to know, but we can save that for another date.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to invite Kevin in sometime to talk to him about stuff. Just
Oh,
get
man,
the most like obscure, random Star Wars facts because I know he knows. So
Yes, I know. That would be awesome.
mhm. Great. Okay. Well, thanks for joining me tonight, guys. This was really fun. I'm glad we had a chance to sit and talk about Star Wars, particularly Disney Plus Star Wars, which I think is good. It's better than the sequel trilogy. So I think it's an enjoyable experience to talk about it.
Yep.
All right,
I'd
thanks for
agree.
having me.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot. If there's nothing else, then I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up.
All right.
So
Take care, guys.
Guys. All right. Take care.